Hello, students. Have you ever seen a magical city under the sea? Not one with cars and street lights, but one made by tiny animals called corals. They build colorful homes called coral reefs, which are like giant underwater neighborhoods for fish, turtles, and sea creatures. Now meet Uma Mani, the coral woman. She loves corals so much that she learned to swim and dive just to meet them in their ocean home. She is not a superhero with a cape, but in her own way, she's saving an underwater world. So now let's begin reading the rest of the chapter. This is part 2 of lesson 7, The Coral Woman. So, children, till now in part 1, we saw that Uma Mani dived in Maldives and she was amazed to see beautiful coral reefs and electric eels everywhere. But here, when she dived in Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu, she was disappointed because there were no corals. There were no fish darting around. Let's read. Being darting around in this their home. This is a coral graveyard, she thought. That is why she's calling it a graveyard, that there are no corals. But the answer lay above the water. So something that humans are doing on the land is the problem. Until 2005, large amounts of coral were mined from the reef for building material for homes. Nestled among the withering corals were algae. These algae these algae native to the Philippines were planted by authorities to create livelihoods. It is the source of a substance called carrageenan, which is used widely in various products, including a top soft drink brand and toothpaste. So, children, long ago, until 2005, people used to mine corals, means they broke and took them from the reefs, just like digging up stones from land. And what are reefs? They are like underwater cities made of coral. But among the withering means drying up or dying corals, there were little green plants called algae. You can also pronounce it as algae. These plants don't have stems or leaves like normal plants, but they grow in water. Some of them came all the way from the Philippines. Authorities planted them so that people could make a living. How? From these algae, we get something called carrageenan, a jelly-like substance used in the things like toothpaste and even in soft drinks. Surprising, right? You could be brushing your teeth with something that started its life under the sea. Now let's read ahead. Harvesting these algae is easy money. Unfortunately, the algae grow so fast that they overtook the coral. Now here is the problem. It grew really fast, faster than you can finish your holiday homework. When they grow too much, they cover the corals, blocking sunlight and space. So the corals cannot survive, right? Imagine if weeds covered your whole garden. Your flowers wouldn't get a chance to bloom. That is what happens to coral reefs. Okay, let's read the information corner. Coral reefs provide a home for at least 25% of all marine species. This includes the giant clam that grows up to 4 feet and can weigh more than 200 kg. Oh my God. And the parrotfish, which makes itself a small sack of saliva to sleep in to protect itself from being eaten. Now let's read ahead. Chatting with folks in the region, Uma also learned about the pollution in the sea. They took her to drains that discharge untreated sewage into the sea. At Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, she was horrified to see piles of clothes thrown away on the beach by pilgrims and tourists. When Uma talked to local people, so she found there's another big villain. What is it? Pollution. At Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, she saw heaps of clothes dumped on the beach. Can you imagine going to a beautiful beach and finding it full of dirty laundry instead of shells and sandcastles? That's what Uma saw, and it made her really sad. However, global warming is the biggest blow to coral reefs. In 2016, the second global bleaching event made sea temperatures rise, bleaching reefs around the world, including those in the nearby Gulf of Mannar. As many as 16.2% of corals were lost. But the biggest troublemaker is global warming. What is global warming? Global warming means when our earth gets hotter because of pollution and greenhouse gases. In 2016, the water got so hot that corals all over the world suffered something called coral bleaching. What is coral bleaching? That's when they lose their color and turn white, like a ghost version of themselves. In the Gulf of Mannar alone, 16.2% of the corals were just gone. That's almost like losing one-sixth of your garden in one go. Let's read ahead. Bleaching is a process in which corals lose their color and become white. This happens when the water gets too hot or too cold, extra salty or acidic. The algae which gives the coral food and color leave. The corals die soon thereafter. So here is the science. Corals get their pretty colors from algae living inside them. The algae also makes food for them. But when the water becomes too hot or too cold, too salty or too acidic, the algae leave and the coral turns white. And sadly, without these friends, algae friends, the corals soon die. It's like losing your best friend. Now let's read ahead. This damaged reef lies underwater out of sight. Why should it matter to us? It's because corals are nature's thermometer. They tell you about the health of the sea, like a thermometer that checks if you have a fever. Is the water unpolluted? Is the temperature right? Is it too salty? If all is well, corals will thrive. So, even though these reefs are hidden under the water, they are super important. Corals are like the sea's thermometer. They tell us if the ocean is healthy or sick. They are a warning sign for scientists. If corals are dying means something is wrong with the sea. The coral needs fish and the fish need coral. This is the truth I learned, says Uma. Upon finding out that many species of fish are disappearing along the coast of Mannar. So Uma discovered that corals and fish are BFFs. They can't survive without each other. If corals disappear, many types of fish vanish too. And that's bad news for the whole ocean food chain. Uma continues to paint her coral canvases today, but she paints the grim elements, the blues of plastic that floats in from the mountain streams into the sea, and the thermal plant in fiery red and black looming over the fragile ecosystem. So even in her paintings now, Uma doesn't show pretty coral colors. She also paints the sad side, blue plastic floating in water, big factories called thermal plants. Thermal plants make electricity using heat. And dark shadows looming. Looming means appearing in a threatening way over the fragile coral homes. Fragile means delicate. So, children, we will read the rest of the chapter in the next part, part 3. See you. Bye bye. Thank you.